Hi, good afternoon. We're going to call this public forum to order. November 7, 2024, BCC Public Forum. Please turn your cell phone to the vibrate, silence, or off setting. Gary Sansing Public Forum is intended for matters not included on the agenda for the upcoming Board of County Commissioners meeting. Citizens wishing to address items on the agenda, please sign up to speak to such item at the regular BCC meeting. Speakers, please refrain from abusive or profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, protests, or any other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chairperson to allow sufficient time for all speakers. At the chairperson's discretion, the public forum may end 5 minutes prior to the start of the BCC meeting to allow the meeting to commence on time. And we do have a number of proclamations tonight, and one of which is a centenarian proclamation, so I do know that we would like to begin on time. Okay. All right. First speaker is Keith Bowe. Thanks, Bill.
I'd like to address the TPO and say that the TPO can work if we work it. Every year our projects get more expensive to plan and to build. Barrancas Avenue, Gulf Beach Highway, and Sorrento Road is one state road with 3 names that has, and that's how NAS Pensacola views it for logistics. I mean, we just experienced a heck of a backlog on that road because we don't deal with what we've got. Barrancas starts out as a 4-lane. Sorrento Road is scheduled to become a 4-lane, be a bottleneck in the middle with Gulf Beach Highway. The 2 portions remain to be 4 lanes, leaving the bottleneck in the center of the portion blocking the access right in the middle. So we need to make these congruent projects. We need to do it as a priority. The only way we can get the TPO to act as we could create the infrastructure ahead of the growth and prioritize our additional state roads in order of our priorities with all 10 TPO board members, given that there are 2 appointed from each commissioner, to sing a united song. The TPO will follow the recommendations of the commissioners. That's what they're there for. We needed to begin tonight with the spirit of going forward and putting our infrastructure first, and we need to fix our EMS response time, which will be correlated, and it's also related to the drainage issues with flooding. We need all 5 commissioners working with each other in unison for this one goal. We can do it. And I'd like to congratulate Commissioners Stroberger, Kohler, May, Ms. Hoffberger, and Barry for their next consecutive, for winning. And Commissioner Kohler has won just by the others winning. So anyway, let's work it out where we have 5 supporting votes on all the issues and not just look at one. I thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Chris Kerb.
How you doing, Andrew? Elections are over. I'm glad about that. And now it's time to do some work. You know, I had one of the candidates ask me the other day, he said, how come you talk to all the other candidates? And I'm like, well, isn't that obvious? I mean, whoever wins the elections, well, they're going to be the one that are paid to represent the people. And my people are flood defenders. So let's get to work. Election season, it's over. It's been a busy time. Following all the candidates and going to debate forums and sending questions in for commissioners and candidates to answer on flooding. It's also interesting the pressure that's put on staff during an election year to get projects moving and contracts awarded. Well, you know, this year they had even more pressure on staff, at least the engineering department. The American Rescue Plan, ARPA, had a deadline of December 31st, 2024 to get all their contracts obligated. And that money has to be spent before December 31st, 2026. And there's a lot of ARPA projects on the agenda tonight. But as far as the work that needs to be done, District 1, Bellevue, Hogan Pit, Muldoon, Softly Field Road, drainage area. Oh, OLF too. By the way, I want to say congrats to Ashley. Glad you're sitting up there. Stephen,
Thank you.
congrats to you and Stephen Strauberger. And Lumen, you didn't have anybody running against you, so hey. Got it by default, brother. It's not default? Oh, okay. So District 2, I got Forest Creek Apartments, Beach Haven Northwest and Beach Haven South, which is also ECUA Navy Point Phase 4. Ashley, you mentioned some things during your debates, sport code changes with modernized rainfall data. That'll be coming up in January. Hopefully y'all will pass that. And promoting modernized and easier permitting for businesses to get started. Well, I drove through Ellison Industrial Park, I think it was a couple of days ago, right after the rain. Those roads are in some bad shape there. Every one of them need to be resurfaced. And one of the problems in there, the reason those roads are falling apart is because water sits on those roads for long periods of time. Water is the enemy of pavement. You got Grove Drive right across from, right where Buffalo Rock is. And that's actually listed in your drainage needs assessment as priority 121 for $1 million.
Chris. That's your time.
Unfunded.
Chris, that's your time.
Okay. Well, I'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Next speaker is Jerry Price.
Hello.
Hello.
I've got a couple things here that I wanted to bring up. One, thank you for Mr. Kohler and anybody else that participated in the Jones Creek, getting it cleared up. That was a big thing. Mr. Bender, very good man, was doing a lot to get money into Escambia County. I hope that one of you are going to step into his shoes and try to do that. And I don't know exactly what kind of money he was bringing in for the county, but I know that he did a lot. We got Christmas coming along, and the ordinance for public camping and sleeping, I hope that you guys are able to get that through on the 12th of December as scheduled. And again, I appreciate everything, all of you, everybody that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Next speaker is Kathy Rushing.
This is my final thank you, but if I complained a lot, I should thank you a lot. Now, the other thing I want to say to you, gentlemen, is because someone talked to you about the traffic. If y'all would get Gulf Beach Highway, Blue Angel Parkway, 4-laned to 98, you would be amazed at what would draw my off of Gulf Beach Highway. You might be able to get the federal government to help us. We might get the state to help some, because that would. The reason I know this, if you go down and watch the traffic going downtown at 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, you will find oh dang, Barrancas. 2 lanes go straight to Garden Street. Straight to Garden Street. They're coming out Barrancas, they're coming out Gulf Beach Highway and going straight to Garden Street. Well, you get 98, turns on Navy Boulevard that swings over to Garden Street. It's something to consider, gentlemen, and the only reason why I can say it to you is because I have traveled down Barrancas, but I would go down Main Street to cut into Everman's rather than going to Garden Street. And noticing that how much traffic went straight to Garden Street. Well, if we could get all that going out Navy to Blue Angel to 98, you'd be amazed at some of the traffic change. It's a thought. I hope you will consider it.
Thank you, Kathy. Next speaker is Jesse Horn Jr.
I thank you for previous working with me on the same property.
This,
Now, I do have letters to pass out to each and every one.
okay. Rich, if you don't mind.
And it's pertaining to property that was at 2201 Pace Boulevard. Now, it was a estate property, and then me and my wife owned. We accumulated some fines of like total of fines of like $150,000. They sold the bank sold the house that was belonged to the estate at 2400 Sweetheart Lane, and they released that part of the fine on that. So, and a while back I filed, and they released my part of the fine. But what happened was, when everything, I was going to get this other $75,000 from my refinance, but when the insurance tax went up so high, it removed a lot of my equity, so I couldn't continue the closing. So I'm coming back again to ask you to consider, and I do have pictures. I didn't bring with me, I forgot what I left them, pictures of the property that was all cleared out and clean, but the commissioner the code enforcement never closed it out. And when people start complaining, like putting railroad track, which I don't have railroads on there, on my property, for it to be removed, that's how they, and then they come around and find me all the way back from the time of the fire. But I have pictures to show that it was cleared when I found out about it, the date I was doing, that I went down there. And at the time I didn't have them, but I located them. And I will have them when you meet with me again. Okay. If you, and please consider them. And I thank you for what you did the last time. But insurance hit us, $1,500 a month to $6,500. $1,500 a year to $6,500, and that took a whole lot of my equity, and I couldn't close the deal with you.
Jesse, this is your property.
Commissioner May is speaking to you, sir. Commissioner May.
Mr. Horn?
Yeah.
So is this your property off of Pace Boulevard that you're referring to?
Yes, sir.
So,
22.
Audrey, can we make sure that we get with Chips or Tim Day, set a time for us to talk? Because I know we talked once, but we can't do it today, but
Right.
let's, whatever we can do to help, we'll do it. And so,
Okay, and
Chip,
I
can
will-
we get staff with him and with me, and we'll try to
Yes,
do
sir.
something that we can bring before this board?
Okay, because well, right now I suffer some heart aorta valve. Right?
Well, you know, I know the family.
I can't do the work.
I know you will.
I got to sell it now.
I got you.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
work on it. Yeah. Sorry you had to come down here. Audrey, we just need to get his information so we can be in contact with him and Chips. Thanks, Jesse.
I will bring the pictures back to your office.
No, you don't have to bring it back, Jesse. Just when you meet with me, I'll bring it back.
Okay.
All right,
you.
thanks.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. Next speaker is John Moore.
Good evening, Commissioners. A growing wave of groups and alliances are generating increased media attention and are coming before this board championing industrial development on OLF 8, some of which appears to violate the intent of the OLF 8 master plan. The sudden unity and push by such large and powerful groups raises questions that deserve some consideration. The residents of Beulah were represented during the study and creation of a $1.2 million OLF 8 master plan and the county-funded $500,000 design of a Beulah master plan. The Beulah Master Plan alone had over 5,500 individual community responses. Both plans overwhelmingly demonstrate the desires of Beulah residents to maintain the rural charm and character that is representative of over a century of life in our area. We protest the construction of any warehouse-type distribution center on any portion of OLF 8 or near any residential area in Beulah. The OLF 8 master plan provides for residential, commercial, and light industrial development. The plan and its county-created hybrid derivative make no provision for a 24-hour-a-day steady roll of 18-wheelers through residential neighborhoods that would occur with an Amazon-style warehouse distribution center. The creators of the master plan have confirmed this. Groups stated previously increasingly encourage this board to dispense with OLF 8 in the name of economic development. I suspect some are present today or might be The citizens of Beulah who consistently speak here do not carry the same economic clout as these behemoths who demonstrate zero concern for our quality of life. We voice our concerns at every provided opportunity. We repeat the stated feelings of thousands of our neighbors. We are tired, we persist. I think both of our incoming and outgoing commissioners understand our frustrations. We vehemently oppose the transfer of OLF 8 to any entity funded by this board or one with executive voting power that is for sale to the highest bidder. This board hybridized the OLF 8 master plan without participation from our community. We are pleading that you at least guarantee you will enshrine your own creation into any binding transaction relating to the transfer or development of OLF 8.
Thank you. Next speaker is Eric Sharplin.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
Evening.
Lumen, I want to congratulate you. You'll be back with us. Jeff, I wish you well. You're doing a good job from county commissioner to radio talk show host. I want to say congratulations to
Eric.
Stephen Barry.
Thank you, buddy.
He ran the cleanest campaign I've ever saw, and I'm glad he's got reelected. Now, the one thing that bothered me that I know that maybe a sore spot is I talked to Walker Wilson, and the crap that was, I'm sorry, Mr. Barry, but what was pulled on him when you blackface him and Lumen mate is disgusting. This type of politicking needs to stop, because are we going to get this low in the dirt to get someone elected and hurt Lumen? Lumen's never done anything to anybody, and I'm sorry it happened, Lumen. And those who don't like it, I was told by a friend of mine, when you get down to the dirt, you get dirty. Now, I hope and pray that everybody with OLF 8 will stop. We've got a new Messiah coming in. Give the man a chance before you start hounding and flooding us with forum speakers. Let's give Steve Stroberger a chance to see what he can do. I think Mike would agree with that. It takes a little bit of time to formulate his ideas. And I just hope and pray that we can all get along. But, Stephen, I'm glad you won.
Thank you, buddy.
And I know I was tired, and you was tired from Tuesday, because I was out there 5 hours sign waving with him. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, buddy. Next speaker is Teresa Blackwell.
Good evening. And first off, I want congratulations to whoever won. And anyway, Ashley, I wish you success with your main goal. It's very important. So it's not my issue, but good luck with that. And Commissioner Burgos, I just want to say you've been a worthy adversary. So life will be different. And I appreciate that you answer phone calls and you get right back to people, and you did today on the Beulah Master Plan after I tried unsuccessfully for weeks to get an answer on that. And apparently they did come in with something, and I'll just be quick on that. Basically, they need more meat on the bones, need some things like design standards, and then they need to bring it back. And when they do, they're supposed to bring it before the key stakeholders. That would be us, you know, the residents of Beulah too. So they should show us their preliminary plan, not just bring it to staff and commissioners. So I just wanted to stick that stake in the ground. And then the other thing is OLF 8. Just want to make clear, we still don't want an Amazon distribution warehouse, and we will come out of the woodwork if it looks like that is imminent. So recently, you have been moving towards selling the entire 540 acres to a developer, which I agree with at this point. I would trust that better. These both offers are good developers. So I trust that better than handing any control to Florida West. So Florida West, I guess you may have noticed, is on a campaign to get their 2 or possibly 3 projects on the ground, no matter how they affect the neighborhood. They ordered a couple of studies, one from the start, ill-conceived. They asked UWF Haas Center to do something that was not logical. And so we can ignore that. The power company is in there working with them too, doing something for free, which makes me question, if they'll do it for free, why do we need Florida West at $500,000 a year? So I'll throw that bomb out there. And also, as far as the warehouses, both of the developers, there's a partner who said that won't work. One said, I will not put warehouses on OLF 8. The other one said the numbers just don't work. So we are still firmly against that and firmly against giving Florida West any additional power
Teresa, that's your time.
to control.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Matt O'Brien.
Good afternoon. I've been
Afternoon.
a resident of Beulah for 35 years, and I'm reading this for a real estate agent who lives in Beulah. The warehouses, especially distribution centers, like the ones that have been proposed, would be a really poor fit for Beulah. I know everyone keeps thinking jobs, 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 and yet these distribution centers have proven across the country that they're trying to get the cheapest labor possible, and they're relying on much automation as possible. Their goal is to have few jobs as possible. People get excited about jobs and don't realize that these places are trying to be as profitable as possible and don't care about the impact on the local area. So jobs and noise pollution are all way down on their priority list. Also, there's many residents in Beulah. They're unable to show up at these meetings because of their times. I mean, we always have a group here, but there's hundreds that can't make it. I know you guys realize that, but I just wanted to mention it. Also, I know that you commissioners are hearing the Beulah community as they speak, and we're asking you to do the right thing for the Beulah community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Andrew Bluer.
Sorry I haven't been more involved with y'all down here, but I've been trying to get Trump elected.
It's okay.
I did a pretty good job.
Nice
Got
job.
rid of Jeff Bagosh. Barry, I was working on you, but I got 4
understand.
more years. I can get a better writing candidate or a candidate to go against you.
Perfect.
But I was hoping you'd work with me for the next 4 years because, I mean, I won't burn Escambia County to the ground, but somebody ought to, if y'all do anything with Bellevue Avenue rezoning, because Horace is going to destroy Bellevue if you let him with the DRC. Y'all need to fire him. Every time he opened his mouth, all he's doing is telling lies. I mean, Lemon May, how come your brother didn't run against you? I didn't give him enough money?
8%, buddy.
8%? But anyhow, y'all need to do something with Horace. You need to do something with Joy Blackman. But 33 years or whatever, y'all know we've got problems with Bellevue Avenue, Hogan's Pit. It's a problem. That Muldoon Road. I mean, I started out with the county commissioners back in '93, and then Mary, or what? Can't even think of her name. I got a blind spot right now. Marie Young. She's in the old courthouse or whatever. I pleaded with her, and I thought that she did a pass on down to Lumen May that he would help me with that. I mean, you don't have any minority contractors that actually clean out Hogan's Pit. I mean, every shovel load we take out, that means that pit's going to be bigger. I mean, I even talked, what was it, 4 years ago, West Marino? We had a plan, didn't we? We had a plan. It didn't work because you changed the plan. As soon as we walked out of here, you changed the plan. You said it wouldn't be no problem to get a contractor to haul that dirt out of Hogan's Pit. Every load that goes out, increased capacity. I mean, y'all could get Larry Downs Jr. to tell you what the problem is. If you got a penthouse, a 7-story penthouse with a toilet overflowing, you don't want to go to the basement and put in a sump pump. You want to start at the top. So I don't understand. Y'all was supposed to be a date set to start the renovation or the cleaning out Hogan's Pit. I haven't gotten a date yet. There's an email. It's going to happen, but I haven't got a start date. So before, on the 12th of December, I mean, Jeff Gosh, you just kicked the can down the road so you wouldn't have anything to do with that. I'm sure if it was Adams Homes of Gulf Breeze, you'd have jumped on it.
Right.
You
Andrew,
would
that's
have
your time.
jumped on it.
That's your time.
But just a closing order. On the 12th, do not expand that. You're just going to cause a bigger problem.
Thank you. Next speaker is Cecilia Campbell.
Mr. Chairman, it's so
Yes,
good
sir.
to see Commissioner, former County Commissioner Wilson Robertson. Every time you hear you excite Andrew. It's so good to see you, Commissioner Robertson.
I think that might have been a plan. Maybe that was a strategy.
I thought they both came together.
Yeah.
They probably rode together.
Yeah.
On that side, yeah. I thought y'all rode the Trumpmobile over here in the trash bag.
Cecilia.
Hello, Cecilia Campbell from Beulah. First thing, I just need to reach out to Jeff because I think that he needs to hear that, from us, that we are, these people who've been here all this time, we really are not the haters. We are not the haters. We have tried to participate in an honorable way. I'm sure that you've probably have heard from some of the ones that were a handful of keyboard warriors. Maybe some of them were sycophants, but those people never attended a single DPZ meeting that we attended, and they really didn't know what we wanted for OLF 8. My husband and I have, well, I'll be honest, these meetings have put us out of our comfort zone and at times have dispelled the tranquility of our retired life. This is not what we intended to do. We have a lot of other activities with our church besides our farm and our grandkids and traveling. But we felt like we were called upon to take a stand because we are the only ones that are going to be greatly impacted by that border. And if you've seen some of our pictures of our sunrises that are going to would be completely blocked, we left a meeting a couple of meetings ago. We left here ecstatic. We were thinking, okay, one designer, one company, they will follow the DPZ design. And as for me, I'm one of those people that did read all of those public records emails, and I know that wording was being changed. Wording was being changed from warehouse to distribution warehouse. And I'm thrilled to hear that both of the developers plan to follow the DPZ design, and they will follow exactly what they have to follow to make it work. And that original plan that we were promised did not have an Amazon-type warehouse distribution center running up and down the roads on a residential neighborhood. And we know what that would mean in 20 years. My property is not going to be worth $100,000 an acre. No, my children and my grandchildren will never be able to sell our property if y'all go with that now. With no infrastructure, those rental houses across the street, only time will tell what's going to happen there. If there are diesels squealing, air brakes coming, going and coming down a two-lane road, the infrastructure's not there. And when we first were so excited and we thought it was the end of it, when we thought y'all promised us to do the DPZ design as planned, with the infrastructure coming after the I-10 exit, that would have worked. That would have probably worked, and we're just counting on y'all to not try to push through Florida West as a controlling agent. I'm sorry if they are your political allies. I'm sorry if you owe them something.
Cecilia, that's your time.
You cannot push this through
All right, thank
as
you.
we suspect that you would like to do.
Thank you. Excuse me. Next speaker is Zachary Campbell.
Zachary Campbell, 5965 Frank Reeder Road. And like Teresa, I would like to say no hard feelings. Commissioner Bagash, I wish you well on your radio program. Last time we were here, we left, like my wife said, ecstatic. We were under the assumption we'd go with one developer. Now, 2 weeks before the 25 board is sworn in, we're facing this. It's kind of curious. And this outfit called Florida West is unelected, therefore unaccountable, and it looks like there's some power players behind this. Now, this push for a warehouse distribution center, as we've said many times, 25 acres, that's going to be huge, and it's going to be working 24/7 with 18-wheelers coming and going, delivery trucks. When I wake up early in the morning, about 6:30, there are 2 elementary school buses back to back that come down Frank Reeder Road. There's that many children there. Rough guesstimate is within a half a mile on Frank Reeder Road, right in front of my house, going towards the dead end, I would bet you there's 400 houses, brand new within the last 5 years put there. There's children coming and going on bicycles and on skateboards, and 4 total school buses every morning. The thing, too, that I read in the paper, UWF didn't factor any of that in, any of the effects it have on the neighborhood, any effect it have on the future plans for a developer, if they takes it. I mean, this is kind of a bad faith deal for them. Looks like a backroom deal again. And to put the burden of building the infrastructure on the taxpayer, that's a little bit too hard to swallow for me. So I think this would destroy the quality of the neighborhood. It would destroy the possibilities for a town center and things like walkable amenities. And it's very clear here that this whole thing stinks about Florida West coming on board. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Peter Bolton.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Bolton. I live in Beulah. A study hit the NPR radio station and was published on their website this past week. The study was about the OLF8 development issues and the overwhelming opposition from Beulah residents to certain aspects of the board's attempts to slide in a secret deal under our noses and that significantly impacts and degrades the quality of life in Beulah and imperils the safety of our children. The study stated that $1.3 billion could be generated by light industrial and only a meager $159 million for residential. This isn't a proper comparison. The either-or comparison was created just for this study. So were the parcels, the way they were divided up, and doesn't reflect what has been discussed to date. Why not say it'd be $10 billion versus $1 million? Why not? The data used for this study was submitted to the University of Florida West by no other than Florida West Alliance. Looks to me like they stacked the deck to get their desired result. The study has not been peer-reviewed, and the university has a school name coincidentally with the same name as the controlling member of Florida West Alliance. Escambia County constituents are justifiably alarmed by this relationship and this study. It doesn't pass the sniff test. It's kind of like political polling. First question asked by the polling company is, what result do you want to get? Residents are very uncomfortable with all the secrecy and the board has exhibited on this matter, and the manipulative nature of your studies and press releases deepens our suspicion. It appears there's a shadow government of non-elected individuals who sit on a board where seats can be purchased and who, by those seats, give some of these board members their marching orders. A deep state in Escambia County, if you will. I ask the board members, especially the newly elected ones, to be faithful to your constituents and listen to them, not follow the demands of an unelected commission whose seats are up for sale and their businesses are the primary beneficiaries of all this. You are elected to serve the voters, nobody else. Thank you.
All right, thank you, board. That's all the speakers. We'll adjourn and reconvene 5:30 sharp.